Well,
The fireworks killed me.
the fireworks
I
was so
I was
what
like,
that
if that's
was.
not the Holy Spirit saying you're right on track, girl, I don't know what is.
the timing was unbelievable. That
I
was
don't know if it
so
was like
great.
my hands and it was one of those motion things. I don't know.
We have never had that happen, which is funny because we talk with our hands a good bit,
Yeah.
and like we move around and do all kinds of stuff. And the fact that that happened, to Nikki's point, I think was absolutely the Lord just confirming how on point you were. And I have to ask you, Mary, because you've not done anything like this before, like, how did that feel? Like, just sharing your story like that, and like, I don't know, how was your
It was
experience?
good. I mean, I just kept praying all day, like not my words, but your words, God. Like just whatever you want to come out of my mouth is going to come out of my mouth. And so I'm such an overthinker, especially when it comes to stuff like this, like to say the right thing at the right time. And I didn't have that thought at all. It was very just from God, the Holy Spirit. But I mean, I really have gotten encouraged from sharing my story because it will personally just again always looking back and seeing the power of God and what he's capable of, especially like the mundane of day to day can feel like just so heavy sometimes. And here lately it's just been so heavy with like schedules and chaos and stuff. And sometimes you're like, are we really making any progress? Like, what are we doing? And then you look back and you see the big picture and it's like, okay, yeah, no. And then like sharing a story like that where God is the center of the stage just kind of like realigns everything.
Mm,
I need
yeah.
to be realigned. I've been needing to be realigned lately.
We haven't talked about that in a while, but yeah, if you ever watched any of our previous episodes, I think you audibly listened to them, is like,
Yeah.
there was like a season where every episode was talking about realignment, and I would always do almost like this in my head, it's like a chiropractic adjustment of like realigning your spine. And I'm so glad you just mentioned that though, because that really is the beauty of community, of coming on, sharing your story and testimony, is it does realign you back to God's original intentions of
Right.
who you
Yeah.
are. You've done great. You've done so good. Also working with the technology that you have.
Okay.
But it is so energizing to share your story, and it's very interesting to me how quickly you can get re-energized by visiting stories of God
Oh yeah.
in your life. Like, you can be in a stuck place, a slump, and you can't, to your point about what you ended the episode on, Mary, sharing about isolation, you can't really get that by yourself, because you can't just talk, like it doesn't produce the same fruit telling yourself the story that you already know, because
Yeah.
it's not that exciting. But when you just turn and you call someone, go to their house, whatever, and you start sharing it, it's pretty
Yeah.
instantaneous that you start feeling that uplift.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, something I'm actually like, so I haven't told you about this yet, but I've started a study on like Eastern Orthodoxy and just reading a book about knowing the faith. And it's the way they teach grace is like mind blowing. So we as Protestants have always learned grace as like a gift from God, right? And therefore it's something God created to give us. Well, the way they teach grace is it is the essence of God. So there's God, sorry, not the essence of God, but the energies of God is what grace is. So they teach grace as this uncreated thing because it's God.
Mm.
And how they explain it is the story of Moses on Mount Sinai when he goes up to go receive the tablets. He asks if he can see God. He's like, no man will look at my face and live. But he puts him into the crevice of the mountain. He walks by and he allows him to see the backside. So, like, the essence of God is not something that we as humans can know, but he extends his energy, like himself, his backside, his energy, his grace to us. And if we are all, or if you imagine, like, if we are all connected through God, through his grace, that energy, and we're surrounded by a body of believers, all of that energy and grace exuding, like, how can you not?
Yeah.
You know, like, and if it's just you and you have, like, if you think about it as like just a string of grace from you to God, you got one. But if you're in a body of thousands,
Mm.
Yeah.
all of that together, is just, I don't know, like it's something I'm learning and it's something I'm studying, but it makes kind of some sense. And I'm like, this,
It
I
makes
like,
sense
huh?
because it makes sense because have you ever been in church and you just feel the shift
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're just like, ooh, it's going to be
Right.
popping today. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I
And,
feel it.
energies, frequencies, we know they're a real thing. And like, if
Mhm.
you have that many people connected to the source
Yeah.
of grace and energy, how much more powerful it is
Mhm.
Mm.
versus just the one, like just you. Not that, I mean, you have to have that connection,
Yeah.
obviously. Like, it both have their place. But I've really enjoyed kind of like thinking of grace in this newfound way because it's so much more like tangible, I think,
Yeah.
to your relationship and connection to God. But yeah, your face looks complex or like complex hope.
Well, I
But I probably butchered that explanation
no,
compared
it
to like
makes
how
sense. If you ever watch our episodes, it's really actually obnoxious to watch me when Nikki talks because my face looks like that a lot of the time because I'm processing it. And it's like I am the most
yeah,
unattractive listener that I feel like on the face of this planet because it's like if you want to talk about us being triune beings, right? Like
right.
my soul is picking up on it, the mind, right? My will, emotions, but then it's like my spirit is like really trying to process it too. So all of me is like at work when someone talks about things of the Lord. And
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite things and why probably I do enjoy talking about the Lord so much is like I feel it on every level of who I am, right? And I can feel myself listening to you while my spirit is like shoving it in its mouth of like richness. And so eventually like it all comes together in
right.
alignment to help me then walk out a better understanding of that. And so yeah, I'm not the
Yeah.
most attractive listener, but
Oh,
it's well, and I was thinking like, you know, you're talking about energies and frequencies and you know, Nikki and I have, I don't know so much on the episodes of the podcast, but like, you know, we understand quantum physics and all of that
yeah.
to some degree. I just say we understand it, but
Right.
we like, you have this like understanding that because we're spirit, which is an
Yeah.
unseen element and realm, that there
Right.
has to be energies that exist. And so what was coming to mind further while you were speaking is my history and knowledge for years back about quantum physics is like there's this concept of quantum entanglement. And I remember learning about quantum entanglement back in 2019, 2020, probably right before really meeting you, Mary. And and a friend of mine, it actually is a friend I met through Britt, we had a little Marco Polo chat called the Quantum Queens, and we loved talking about like this energy stuff about our alignment with the Father and with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And she had her own revelation, which later I heard someone preach on. She was like, Hope, I think we're all quantumly entangled with Jesus. And I was like, wait, that makes complete sense. If
Yeah.
we're the body, he's the head, we're quantumly entangled with him,
Yeah.
which again goes back to everything you were just
Mm-hmm.
saying, Mary,
Yeah.
and why Nikki's like, well, yeah, that makes sense because it
Right.
actually validates
Yeah.
that even
Yeah.
further. And that fires me up to
Mm-hmm.
see all that come to fruition, and helps me continue to understand the importance and significance of being around other people, because Nikki and I have had episodes talking about community and isolation, and gosh knows we talked about isolation, and both of us have shared how we have a tendency to pull away and to isolate, and I am very guilty of that. And granted, it feels like constantly getting slapped in the face all the time, and I can't ever feel like in the past couple of years get my footing to not feel like I have to pull away. But it's a good reminder, especially someone like you, Mary, so close to me in proximity, that like just us doing Friday evening walks, if we're able to do that in the
Mm-hmm.
fall season like we were talking about, that's enough to at least get that going again and
Yeah.
getting that energy back up. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be too crazy. Yes, you need to be like Nikki was saying, when you go into church and you feel that shift, the more the better. But on
Mm-hmm.
times that it's really difficult in isolation, and I'm preaching to myself right now, in isolation is what you feel you believe is best, go out and go on a walk with somebody
Yeah.
and give a chance to talk about the Lord or share your story. Because a lot of times, Mary, when you and I walk, like it's exactly what I needed, is just to get that movement, to be physically around someone else. And it was enough.
Oh, nice.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's good stuff. I think that's everything.
Okay. I love it.